live, which means we gotta go.
And we back, 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 and we
Yeah, and we back.
and we back. Hey,
Thinking out loud, it's your boy Jay Lip, TOLPcast.com. You know who I am, you know what this is. We back in the building after a hiatus that I thank God for. A nigga needed a R&R, rest and relaxation. And
Hmm.
also needed PNS, that's prayer and salvation. So, with that being said, thank you, Lord, for blessing us. I know y'all might be digging the new do. I got a little bit different of hairstyle, but this is how we moving. All natural,
I think it's
featuring.
cute. It's cute.
Oh, that's so sweet. Featuring the works of none and only TL Yarn Crafts, my wife, Mrs. Lip. Mrs. Lip, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, blessed and highly favored. Glad to be back, man. We needed that break, though.
We needed it. Oh my God, we needed it. Thank you so much for y'all being patient with us. But we back to the shits. And now we dive in head first. First and foremost, I want to definitely say thank you to all the fans. Thank you to everybody that stuck with us. I want to thank Mrs. Harden. I want to thank Richmond Lipsy. I want to thank Latoya. I want to thank any and everybody that still fucks with your boy and what we got moving. So, with that being said, I want to start off on a positive note. So, Miss T.O. Yarn Crafts, aka Mrs. Lip, do you have anything that you want to share and shout out to anybody who's been a critical part of your success in these past few weeks?
Yeah, the past few weeks have been crazy, man. I do craft shows. Well, did craft shows. I actually just finished my very last craft show forever this past weekend. I've been doing shows for like 5 years, but we're on to bigger and better things now. So I want to give a quick shout out to my best friend, Miss Crystal herself. She
Whoop
came with
whoop.
me this past weekend. It was an out of town show overnight, so she was kind of my wingman for the weekend, which was nice. But on top of that,
Wing
I was
women, wing
about it,
women,
and
be gender specific. Wing,
you what now?
we're all gender inclusive, so you're wing woman.
My wing person. I
Oh,
suppose
oh, that's excellent. There you go. Clap
she's
it
my
up one
wing
time.
person weekend, and got to give a lot of love to her because this weekend was an amazing success, and I definitely give her a lot of appreciation for that. Um, but on top of that, though, I was thinking about it. While we're in the season of Thanksgiving and of passing on blessings and thinking back to this amazing season, and I just want to give a lot of love to everybody who's out there doing their own thing right now, who's got a podcast or who has their own business or who has their own ventures going on because we all work so hard on our side
Yes.
hustle. So definitely want to
Yes.
huge shout out to everybody who's listening, who's grinding it out this season. It's seen and appreciated how hard you work.
Amen to that. And also, congratulations to myself as well, being one of those podcasters you mentioned.
Yes.
We do what we do, TOL Podcast. We just bringing y'all basically the grassroots conversation that we have outside of work, outside of the corporate atmosphere, outside of the political. I want to say the paradigm, and we say, you know what, fuck it. We don't think it out loud. We gonna think,
Yeah.
we gonna talk, and we gonna say the shit out loud. So, with that being said, and knowing that we got time limits because we know cats got low attention spans, not y'all that's listening, but everyone who's not. Um, let's get to the shits. This week, well, rather, in the past few weeks, what's happened? I've had my birthday, 32 in the house. If I had my sound effects, which I know I'm gonna get for Christmas from my baby, brr, 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 brr. Okay, we got that in. So that's happy birthday to me, 32. Decided to
Yep.
go through a low life crisis and get my hair locked up. So I'm a low life. That's what I do. Judge me if you want to, but I'm still getting these checks, nigga. Yeah. Now, second thing too. I want to also make a moment of silence for those who have lost or have been victim to any type of um, honestly, any type of violence, any type of situations that have occurred. I know that the Concords were a big issue over the past couple of weeks. I'm a Jordan fan, and unfortunately, when it comes to these shoes, man, they're the holy grail. And if you didn't get them in time and you had to rob somebody for them, man, just Just
Do
prayers
not
for you.
encourage robbing people for shoes. Please don't make that what this
I'm
podcast is
just
about.
saying the Concords was special. You know what I'm saying? The Concords was special. My wife got them for me. I got them in a box over here. I might get my black ass up and go get the box and show y'all what I'm working with. But I know it'd be bragging and I know it'd be inciting of a riot on the podcast. And I don't want y'all to
Don't do
flood the
it.
comments. So I
Don't.
won't. So, again, back to the business. Kevin Hart, good
Yeah,
guy, right? Good guy. We say he's a good guy.
I think so.
He's for the people. We would hope, right?
You know what?
Uh oh.
I would say yes. He is for the people. I think maybe his people have changed slightly,
What does that
but
mean?
um. Okay, so this is my biggest gripe with Kevin Hart, and I know it's not even on topic with what we're about to talk about, but Kevin's last stand up was not great. I think
Okay,
Kevin got
so
too
what
much
you
money,
so what you're
and
doing
that's
right now
all
is
he
judging the
talked about in his
man.
stand
You're
up.
judging the man off of his performance and off of his career, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
he's an entertainer, he's a comedian, so that's what comes to mind for me first and foremost with him. Me deciding how much I like Kevin Hart is based on his performance. And his most recent performance was lackluster in my opinion compared to his past work because all he talked about is his stupid kids and his big house. I'm like, okay, I can't really relate to any of that, but that's cool.
All right. So with all that other shit, so basically focusing on Kevin Hart and what he said recently, um, Kevin Hart was approached by the Academy Awards to host the Oscars, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Then there's always the then, right? Dun dun dun. Another sound effect I'll have after Christmas. I hope. Will I have that after
I
Christmas?
don't know.
Ooh, okay. Well, regardless, once I get these sound effects up, that's gonna be the ooh, ooh, and then we say, but Kevin Hart also has been known to have some nefarious comments that are not the most appealing to the LBGTQXYZ community. So, with that, wait, hold on. What's the head shake for? What's that about?
Don't add extra letters because that's offensive.
How is
It's like
that offensive? It's LBGTQXYZ. That means I cover everything.
no, 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 no,
LBGTQXYZ.
no, 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 no. That's not the
Explain.
acronym. That's
But
not the expression. You don't add XYZ to it.
I'm okay. So
LGBTQI. That's the acronym. All of those letters mean something.
can we take a step back and think about our alphabet grammar school class? LB. Okay, L comes after B, so it should
It
be
doesn't matter. That's not the
BLGT.
point.
Well, whatever. Fuck it. So with that being said, the LBGTQ
I.
dot. You said what? Wait, hold on.
LGBTQI.
What is I?
I don't
Please.
know what the I means offhand, but I
So
know it's in there.
hold on. So it's LBGTQI now.
Yes.
So
If
a
you
nigga.
want to be
So I gotta know
completely
every letter. Okay, hold on. Hold on. No, you fucking with me right now. LBGTQI, but I can't say LBGTQXYZ. XYZ should encompass everybody who don't
okay,
know.
I think we're getting off topic. We will educate ourselves after this
Just tell me
episode.
what the
But
I
I know
means.
for
Just
sure
tell
there's
me
no
what the I
X,
means.
Y, or Z in it.
What's I? Say I. Interracial?
No, no, because it's about preference. It's about sexual preference and gender identity.
Okay,
It's not about
shout out to
race.
the homie. I gotta shout out my people. D Woods, I gotta shout out JC's, I gotta shout out my boy DJ and my boy gotta be careful with his name. GJ, that's what we'll say. My boy EP, Eric in the building, ABC, LBGTQXYZ. So
Okay,
we've covered
okay,
everybody. So with that being said,
okay.
Kevin Hart made some comments, right?
Right.
Then his comments were made on Twitter almost a decade ago, right?
So I've heard.
Okay, so he's apologized for those comments since then. Shout out to Mimi Brown or Mimi Sloan or Naomi, however you want to be referred to as. Shout out to the homie because that's the homie. Now, with that
Yeah.
being said, he apologized for what he said about those comments. He said, I don't want my son to be gay. If my son was playing with a dollhouse, I'll beat his ass with the dollhouse or whatever. Blah blah blah. Young nigga shit. That's what we say when we're immature and we're just talking out the side of our mouth, side of our ass, whatever. he's a decade removed from that comment, and now it's being brought up so that he can feel some type of obligation to apologize yet again for something he already apologized for. What the fuck's going on?
Okay, so it's just the politics. Like, I mean, even award shows in general, it's all about politics. So, I mean, regardless, I feel like something would have come up. So if it wasn't those comments, it would have been something else that he said, that he did. Like, he's a comedian. There's no comedian that's hosted the Oscars that hasn't said something that they probably shouldn't have said. That's their whole job, is to say things that elicit a response.
And you
But
know why? Because they're comedians.
exactly. They're trying to make people laugh. And honestly, they wouldn't say the things if they didn't make people laugh. Not to say that I'm justifying the comments, but it came from a different place.
Okay, so
But
hold
either
on
way,
real quick. D Woods had a question. He said, "Wait a minute, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what he said? If he says I don't want my son to be gay, and if my son turns out to be playing with dolls and playing with a dollhouse, I'll beat that dollhouse over his head till he understands what time it is. What's wrong with that?"
I mean, I guess the implication is there shouldn't be a punishment for being a homosexual. I think that's the general populist understanding of how homosexuality should be treated. There shouldn't. Now, it's understandable. Maybe you don't want your kid to be gay. That's fine. That's a preference for you as a parent. But if they were, I think it's the and then that is the biggest concern here. But either way,
But what's the and then though? Explain
the
that.
and then is, if he was, I'm gonna beat him with a dollhouse.
No,
Like,
I'm gonna beat him with the dollhouse he was playing with. It's not any dollhouse. It's
okay, even if okay, so you're gonna beat him with the dollhouse that's right in front of him. It doesn't matter what dollhouse it is. Like,
yes,
that's
it
not
does.
the point.
It's to tell
Okay.
him. Okay, in that respect,
The suggestion is there should not be a punishment for you being gay, regardless of where the dollhouse came from. There shouldn't be a punishment if his kid ended up to be gay and that's not what he wanted.
let me be clear. EP came back and said nothing personal. Well, he said nothing is wrong with that. It's a personal preference. And D Woods came back and said, "Is he Christian?" So let's speak relative to our situation. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Am I a Christian?
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying. So, with that being said, based off of Christianity, we would want our children to not be in the ways of sin that we declare or we indoctrinate ourselves with based on that religion, correct?
Yeah, and that's not the part that I'm saying people are taking issue with.
Okay,
You
so
as a parent might not want your kid to be gay, but if they are, there shouldn't be a punishment. That's what we're talking about
you know
here.
what? And I wish I had it, and I swear, and I appreciate that feedback, and I swear I wish I had it. My homie, my bro, my brother, Levi. Shout out to Levi. What up, boy? My boy Levi. He made a comment on someone's Facebook where he said something like, it was something crazy. I can't even repeat. You know, it's thinking out loud. He said, he believes that you're not born gay, but you choose to be gay. He said, when you're a child, no one puts a gun to your head and says what you do when you're gay. And I I took a little bit of offense to that because not offense like I'm gay, but offense like make that clear. I love this woman next to me. But I took a little bit of offense to that because I'm like I do believe that people are born, some at least are born gay, and I feel like that's an affliction. Just like what I've shared before, is I feel like it's not a choice for a man to be attracted to children or a woman. It's not an offense that is purposeful for an adult to basically engage in nefarious activities that are just socially unacceptable. So it has to be something that comes from within that you can't control ultimately. That's how I feel.
Well, the way that I see it is I do believe that you are born gay or not. I think it's a choice
Whoa,
whether or
whoa,
not you
whoa.
engage in that life.
Okay. That's a great way to tie a bow on that.
Because whether it be circumstance, whether it be religion, whether it be opportunity, you might not feel safe enough to be who you are publicly,
Right.
but you might still be battling with that internally. That doesn't change who you are, it just changes your behavior.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the focus of Kevin Hart and let's say, okay, well, Kevin Hart made those statements that were insensitive to people of the ABC, LBGTQ, XYZ community. If that was the, oh my God, are you about to blow up the screen?
No, I'm not going to. I'm past it. It's just frustrating.
Okay, so if I were to say that Kevin Hart made those statements, he apologized for them a decade ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. How many times as a man, well, you know what, not to get into that conversation, but because yeah, I ain't gonna do it to myself. Fuck that.
Okay.
Um, when do we say that? Well, first off, let me ask you: are you with Kevin Hart? Or are you against him
I'm
at
with
this
Kevin
point?
Hart. I think he should host the awards and I think he'd be hilarious. But I
Okay,
also am with him standing his ground and saying, I'm not gonna apologize for this again. You're not gonna keep holding this over my head.
there we go, and that's where I stand too. So I'm with Kevin Hart on the fact that if y'all motherfuckers gonna tell me that I said something wrong, cool, I apologize. If the next motherfucker gonna tell me I hurt their feelings, cool, I apologize. Then the next group of people tells me I completely destroyed and offended everything that they are and stand for, I apologize.
Yeah.
Great. That's time number three. We talking about 2018 versus 2000 and God knows what, which I believe the facts are out there. I think it was like, I think he said '09, 2010 when he made those comments and
Mm,
then has since apologized.
right.
Um, when do we let that go and stop? Like I feel like there's a group of trolls, and I hate to bring it to what it is, but it is this, in my opinion. Kevin Hart is encroaching on an arena that is not meant for traditionally black
Mhm.
entertainers to be the
But I
star
mean,
of.
he's not the first person
He's
of color
not.
to host an award show.
He's not, but maybe he's the first that has that ammo against him that's being used against him.
I don't know, man, because like what Chris Rock has hosted these awards
What
before,
did
and
Chris
even
Rock
there's
say
even been
though?
like white comics hosted these awards before that really probably shouldn't have. I think the biggest issue is the Academy, unfortunately, is bowing to the peer pressure of, like you said, the trolls on the internet who are saying, well, what about this? And why hasn't he apologized for this? And probably some other comedian would just come back and be like, look, said I was sorry then, still sorry now, water under the bridge. The issue is Kevin's like, I'm not going to keep beating this dead horse with you guys. If you don't want to give me this opportunity after I've already apologized for this thing that I said when I was younger and I've since changed, like that's on y'all. And I completely agree with that. You shouldn't have to keep going back and forth with somebody who doesn't want to accept your apology.
Let me bring up a fact real quick. I want to shout out my bro Kevin Tracy, my boy AP. I want to bring up Kendall. I appreciate you, bro. And D Woods brought up a point. He said, "Brother, he's supposed to correct his son if he sends homosexual feelings. Spoil the ride, spoil the child." What do you think?
What now?
Spoil the ride, spoil
Spare
the
the rod,
child.
child.
I mean,
Spare,
it's a mistype, but we know what he talking about. Come on.
I know.
Shout out to the only
Um,
Woods. What up, Woods? West Side.
I think that's it's all about your parenting preference. Everybody parents differently, and I'm not going to make any suggestions on how somebody should parent their children. The way that I feel about it, also as somebody who doesn't have children, I do not feel like a child should be reprimanded or disciplined for their sexual preference at any age.
Okay. So with Kevin Hart, I want to end it with this. My final point is, as far as Kevin Hart is concerned, if we're going to chastise him for the things that he has said in his past, are we then saying that no one can grow and recover from mistakes that they've made? Because to me, that almost translates directly into the correctional institution of basically our whole police system in America, where it comes down to you can get arrested, you go to jail, you come out, but you still can't vote in certain states.
Yeah,
Shout out to
still
Florida.
being punished.
Yeah, you still being punished. You're punished for the rest of your life, and so
Right.
that's so. How do you feel about that? Should somebody apologize like Kevin Hart, and we let that shit go?
No, I don't think they have to. I don't think they should be asked to,
Oh
and I
my
don't think that they
God!
should.
Wait, you
What?
saying he should not be forgiven and let it
No,
go?
no, no. Oh, I thought you were saying like, should he have to apologize
No,
again?
no, no. I'm saying he apologized. Should we let that
Yeah,
go and
let
keep
that
it
shit
pushing?
go. It's so far in the past.
Okay,
Let it go.
congratulations. I'm a
And it's
fan.
a one night. It's a one night award show. It's not like we're electing him to some seated office. He's hosting an award show. He's a comedian.
Okay.
This is fun and games and giving accolades to actors. Like,
Yeah, but the
this
one
is
thing he
not the
doesn't want is
United
the one
Nations.
rando in the audience to yell, "You're homophobic." You know, like that's what he's
Well,
trying to
I
avoid.
mean, he's also a comedian. I'm sure he's used to dealing with hecklers. I'm sure he'd take it in
Well,
stride.
if you listen to his interviews, the nigga got a chicken wing thrown at him at one of his earlier shows. So
So
if you
he's
can get
seen
over that,
worse.
if you can get over that, you can get over anything. Now, I
Right.
also want to talk about this current conversation with this king of R&B shit. So, what I don't know where it came from. I think it was Jacquees or some other artist that came out with this whole "I'm the king of R&B," blah blah blah. Me personally, this is gonna be a quick and short segment. Um, I don't think that R&B currently exists in our climate right now. In 2018, there's no such thing as R&B because there's been so much of a synergy between R&B and hip hop and rap and all that shit
Pop
that it's,
and
it's it's all the same thing. If Drake can sing on one verse and then rap to you the next, and you say that that's bars of the year, which bars, nigga? The bars that he was singing, or the bars he
which
was
part?
rapping? So where where do we even care? Like my thing is, do we even care? I'm not even going down the gauntlet of, oh yeah, we had Usher in 2004 with Confessions. That's our graduation year. That shit was cold. Like fuck all that. Like right now. The August Alcinas and the Dreams and Neos and Ushers and
Old.
Jaquavius's and
All their careers are
Marquise's,
so old.
Marcus Houston, shit. I could
Oh
name a
God, you
bunch
don't
of guys,
start.
but who cares? Who cares? Why do we let ourselves be controlled? And when I say us, I mean us. I did the two fingers.
The
Eye to
collective
eye.
us.
Eye to eye. Why do we let the collective us be even interested in the bullshit about who's the king of R&B? Who cares? Who
I mean, I think it's
cares?
an interesting conversation to have. We've been having conversations about who's the top in music forever. But the thing was, when we were having those conversations, there were answers. So, when there were conversations, top five dead or alive or whatever, like you got an answer. You have
But
a
you
top
got that
five.
when hip hop. Okay, so before we get to that, real quick, shout out to the homie, my boy, $1 million Merritt. Merritt, I see you, boy. What's good, baby? And AP said I wouldn't have apologized in the first place. I said what I said, motherfucker. He didn't say motherfucker. I said it. But
Okay.
regardless, regardless, my thing is this: why do we care? Because there was a time we could say, your top five rappers dead or alive, top three, shit, make it harder. Your top three, your Jay Z, Nas, and M, or your big Tupac and uh, KRS One or Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah,
whoever. Like
whatever.
now, the genre is so blended.
Yeah.
Why is this an argument? Who cares? Like nobody's really just singing because you sing a song and then
Nobody's
you rap a verse and you sing again, you rap a little bit and then turn it into like even Trey Songz has done it, Chris Brown has done it, everybody has done it.
everyone.
So
Everyone.
it's now just hip
R&B,
hop.
R&B as a genre does not exist right now. And even if you listen to, I think some of the, of course, there's still like the hip hop and R&B stations that exist that play some of the older music and try and blend in some of
Keyword
the new stuff.
keyword
It's
older.
still not. It's still not really R&B. I feel still
Well,
not like the
AP said
essence of
AP said there is no king, there is no male Beyonce equivalent in my opinion.
no.
I agree.
And some
We
people might even argue that Beyonce is not R&B anymore. That she's some blend between like hip hop and pop. Like
Well, you know what?
that's where the lines cross. It's like a blend between hip hop and pop because even if you listen to Bruno Mars' last album, that is all like a funk 70s 80s inspired album and it might be considered R&B but people are still going to put him in the pop category.
Well, you
Or
know
you
what?
listen to somebody like Miguel and you're probably going to put him in some kind of alternative category. R&B don't exist no more.
I agree with you 100%. Well, you know what? We're going to start giving some goddamn commenter awards. Commenter of the episode is the homie AP. There is no king. There is no male Beyonce equivalent, in my opinion. Brr, 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 brr. Bombs. I can't do this shit with my mouth. I
You're
can't.
doing good. That was
But
great.
regardless, AP said it best. There is no male equivalent because
There's not.
Beyonce been running the game and no male R&B artist has. They do the collabs, they do the features, but nobody has done a male lemonade. And even if Jay-Z were a singer, 444 would have been trash. I'm sorry. 444 would have been trash. So, with
Still.
that being said, I think we can agree there is no king at this point. In my
Yeah.
opinion,
Shouldn't even be a conversation.
kings
It
of
really
R&B has to be transgenerational. It cannot be our generation's king of R&B. Like, no, nigga, go back to the days where you had a group. Name me one group of R&B singers after 112 and Jagged Edge. If you can, I'll give you $1. Anybody? Anybody in the comments? Nope. Robert Kelly dominated 20 plus years, says D Woods. And I hate that fact because he just dove into the last part of this conversation in our final moments. God damn it, D Woods, you was a smart motherfucker. D Woods, you are correct. And I have to bring this fact up because I do, in fact, enjoy legacy R. Kelly music.
yeah.
However, I
Yeah.
have not, quote unquote, air quotes, canceled him. The reason why I haven't, quote unquote, canceled him is because I hate the term canceling. You can't cancel a person from this earth. You can't kill a person's existence or their legacy or what they've done or provided to the culture. So with that being said, to all y'all talking about, oh, we canceling Kanye, we canceling XYZ who we don't, you can't cancel that motherfucker. He's still here.
They're all
She's still
canceled.
here.
They're canceled from my consciousness. I do not
Okay,
engage
so
with
so so
any
you
of
absolve yourself. That's more appropriate. You absolve yourself from them. But at the end of the day, back to D Wood's comment, the king he said, but the king broke. Yeah, the king is broke. The crown is tainted. You know, nigga over in Ethiopia talking about something. Do you want to come back to the states? You know, show me.
no.
you know,
Stay where you at.
show
Wherever
me your
you at,
best
stay where you
efforts
at.
to get this passport. But regardless, R. Kelly is technically a part of our lifestyle. Being born in what 86, I would say. 86 that we were born in, maybe, maybe not. We're going to let
Mhm.
that float out there, but regardless, he's been the one that's making hits since we were fucking children. We were children. And
I
R.
mean, I
Kelly,
don't
my
disagree with you,
mind's telling
but
me no. Like you, before you knew about the Aaliyah shit, before you knew about all the pedo shit, all the sex
that's
trade,
the shit
sex
that got him fucked up though. That's what makes the difference. That's why niggas out here getting canceled because of stuff you decide to do off the stage,
but
and that impacts your fan base.
my body's telling me yes, baby. I know you're underage, but I'm trying to get laid. Like,
Okay,
hey,
all right,
not me. That's him, R. Kelly. He did that. I
sure.
didn't. I just repeated what I saw on the screen. With that
Okay.
being said, I gotta say that R. Kelly to me is the king of R&B when it comes to the lifetime that I've had. Now, granted, there have been some other greats. I love Donnell Jones. I love. I hate to say it. I love Tank. I love
Tank
R.
was great
I
in
love
his time.
RL.
Jaheim, John
Jaheim.
B. I mean, we could go down the list, but nobody's made any music in the last like 10 years.
It's a tough call because then you have your individuals, you still got your groups, you got your 112s. What is this numbers in your pocket?
They're in the
I
same boat though.
like
When's the last time we heard from
they're
them?
all
Like,
greats.
Slim tried to make an album. And I was like, oh, not great.
So at the end of the day, and a lot of people online were saying C Breezy. D Wood said Tank is still great. EP said some bullshit that I won't repeat.
What do you
He
say?
said, "Don't quit your day job, bro." Laughing emoji, whatever. D Wood says since
Y'all have
'89. But at the end of the day, I want to close this shit out cleanly and say, look, man, Let the king of R&B shit go. I posted on Facebook, said, "What y'all think? Who's the king of R&B?" You know what? That was a little bit of a troll, a little bit of bait trap, so I could just slander all of that shit and say, you know what? There is no king. Michael Jackson, rest in peace. Prince, rest in peace. 112, rest in peace. Jagged Edge, rest in peace. Tank, rest in peace. RL, rest in peace.
Voice
Tyrese,
the man, rest in
the
peace.
premedicated Tyrese, rest in peace.
Oh,
Everybody who was a great to us, rest in peace. Pre
genuine, rest in peace, bro. Get
Genuine
yourself
in them
together.
jeans, rest in peace. Pre herpes Usher, rest in peace.
Oh
I
no.
mean, the dream before he just started songwriting exclusively, rest in peace. Omarion before he was Maybach O, rest in peace. Um, all of y'all rest in peace. But let Spotify
May your
live.
careers rest in peace.
Let
Don't ruin
Spotify
it.
live so we can continue to enjoy the history of what was a genre that was great and a part of our upbringing. And lastly, I want to say they are using the same male R&B equation from the homie AP. Do you agree, disagree? What you think, Mrs. Lip?
I mean, probably, but isn't that the genre though? That's what puts you in that genre.
See, I think it's not a genre. I think it's just a formula, like AP said. It's just a formula. It's an equation. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, again, until Christmas, there's no outro music and no fancy schmancy dances and images. So we gonna end it like this. TL, Mrs. Lip, anything to leave the people with? Anything they can expect within the next, I don't know, 24 minutes?
So in the next 24 minutes, I'll be going live in my Facebook group TOYC Makers to talk about what I've learned after doing 5 years of craft shows.
Bet that up. And also, I want to let y'all know again, hiatus was long, but man, we needed that shit. I'm telling you, bro. We
Definitely.
needed it. So, all my brothers, all my sisters, we love y'all. It's been a pleasure to be here and to share our opinions with you. Thinking out loud is just that. We just thinking, we talking the shit out, and we having a conversation loudly. So, with that being said, TOLPcast.com, thinking out loud, we are.
Out.
There we go. God bless you. Amen.